you have plans of relocating abroad to go and teach English? Do you want to relocate to either Thailand, Vietnam, China, or any part of Asia? If you are considering, or if you're already in Vietnam, if you're a first-time teacher, then listen and watch this video before you even sign a contract. In this video, I'm going to unravel some of the things that you need to know, as put out by an expert, Muhammad Ali, who has been staying in Vietnam for over 6 years. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the video. And now let's get into the video. When you have an offer from a new school, review the school. Go on Facebook, go on the internet, Google the school and search about reviews. You can also talk about friends who are around already working over there to review that school, because it's one of the things that will give you an insight on whether that school is legit or not, whether they maltreat teachers or they're a good school. Then based on that, you can make a better decision on whether to relocate to work with that schools or not. Now take note that you will never know unless you find out about the school. So that is the first tip. Now the tip number 2 is that in your contract, before you sign that contract, ensure that the salary date at least ranges from the 10th of the next month to the 15th. Don't let it exceed. Now, every contract that tells you that they are going to pay salary from the 15th to the 20th is a red flag for you to sign that contract. They may be one of those schools who may have issues, and then they'll postpone your salary to the next month, then to the next month, to the next month. And by the time you realize they are owing you about 5 months and you can't leave and you are stuck to the school and you keep working. And this has happened so many times in Vietnam with schools who did not pay their teachers for so many months, and the teachers had to move on without their salary, and this caused so many problems. So anytime you have a contract, if the date for payment is exceed 15th, don't sign that contract. It's a red flag. Always request for a probation date, even if the school doesn't give you a probation date. Always request for one yourself, at least 1 month probation. Now, this is what you are going to study in that 1 month probation. You are going to study the teaching environment, the TAs you'll be working with, the environment, and then your accommodation. This is because some schools can offer you employment, but in reality, the TAs can really frustrate you. Some of them, they can even turn the student against you. They will make the class unteachable for you because they've built bonds with other teachers who left, and they wouldn't give any new teacher the space. Other schools will even give you a bad accommodation, which you may not notice until maybe the 2nd week or the 3rd week. Others have a very poor working environment. There are no teaching equipment. There are no teaching materials for you to teach. Always take note that you have a probation. If the school doesn't give you one, request for a probation yourself. This will allow you walk away. A lot of schools also put clauses in their contract that if you breach their contract or if you leave before the expiry date, you'll be requested to pay a certain amount of money. And so in order not to get yourself into such mess, get yourself a probation so that at least in 1 month, if you don't see things or if things doesn't work well for you, you just walk away peacefully and you wouldn't have to have any problems with such an institution. So always request for a probation period. It's very important. Avoid hourly payment as much as possible. Always request for a monthly salary, meaning that if you're offering 100 hours, they are going to pay that amount for 100 hours, whether they give you enough hours or not. This is because many centers can agree that they'll be paying you 1,300, 1,500 a month, but actually they may not have that 100 hours they are supposed to pay you, and so you end up being underpaid every month, and it will continue to every month and every month and every month and every month because they don't have that 100 hours, and there is nothing you can do once you accept the contract. So always agree with them that they pay you a monthly salary. If they say that they are going to give you 100 hours and they are going to pay you $1,300 or $1,500, whether they find you the 100 hours or not, they are still going to pay you the 1,300. And if you work more than the 100 hours, then they are going to pay you the extra money. When you do that, they'll be forced to look for extra hours elsewhere. If not, they will just sit down and you'll be getting 20 hours, 15 hours, 10 hours, and they really don't care, because they're going to pay you according to the hours you are going to work for them or with them. And so always ensure that you have a clarification on that. A lot of teachers are stuck to their centers and they don't have the 100 hours, even though on paper they have been promised 100 hours for about $1,500, but they never even get sometimes $300. And it's a problem because your hands are tied. You signed to the contract, you really didn't ask for clarifications. So always ensure that you ask for clarification, and better still, ask for a monthly salary. It's going to help you a lot before you sign that contract. Now, one other thing you should know is the preparation of PPTs and lesson plans. Now, preparing PPTs, PowerPoint presentations to teach. So in Vietnam or in Asia, you need those PowerPoint to project on your projector, and then you teach the kids so that they know exactly what you are teaching or you are talking about. Now, some centers will expect you to prepare those PPT and lesson planning. Now, if you are working 100 hours, what it means is that you are working morning, afternoon, and evenings. And so if you decide to add preparation of PPT, that could be very exhaustive and that could take away a lot of your time and your strength. And so in your contract, if you are expected to prepare the PPT, then you should request extra money for it, or the center prepares the PPT for you. Now, most of the centers in Vietnam or the schools teaching in public school, they already prepare the PPT. So all that you need to do is to take it and then, remodel it into how you would like it to appear or how you like to teach it. However, some centers take advantage of new teachers, asking them to prepare the PPTs and lesson plans. If they ask you to do that, make sure that you request for extra amount of payment. If not, let them do it. Your responsibility is to teach and not to prepare PPTs. That is a whole job on its own, preparing PPT for 100 hours. So in your contract, always be careful and read about that. If you're supposed to prepare that, then you should request extra payment, or they should prepare it. I will advise that you don't prepare it at all. Let the center prepare it so that you can use your little time to have a little sleep and regain your strength. So always take note so that you don't sign the contract and later find your hands tied when you can't do anything about it. The next thing you should do is to discuss the benefits of the work that you are going to do. Now, part of Vietnam, they will give you accommodation, they'll give you a motorbike, some will give you allowance to buy for your bike and fuel. All of that goes into it. And so you should have a clear explanation or clear blueprint with regards to that, whether they are going to support you with accommodation, they are going to support you with fuel, TLC, and then work permit. Now, some of them pay half of your TLC and work permit, and they expect you, the teacher, to also pay for the half. But if they are charging you, it should never be more than $200 or even $150, because it's around $100 and below. Some schools take advantage, especially schools that have agents. They will be charging you $500, $600 for the work permit and TLC. But trust you in me, it doesn't cost that much. And most centers even pay upfront for teachers. You don't have to pay for work permit and TLC. So always take note. Now, there are other costs that you'll be incurring once you travel to these secondary schools, these primary schools, these government schools. Some can be as long as 30 minutes ride, 20 minutes ride. And so if you're not careful, it will consume all your fuel. Always ensure that the schools is giving some support, some relief with regards to this. Either they are giving you a motorbike for you to buy the fuel, or you buy your motorbike and they will buy the fuel. Or in certain cases, they will buy the motorbike for you and give you some fuel, then you top up. A center which is not ready to do all of that is not worth working for, because you end up using all your salary paying for fuel, motorbike, TLC, work permit, and you have nothing at the end of the year. A lot of centers are treating or subjecting teachers to this kind of inhumane treatment, all because these teachers did not pay attention to the contract when signing. If you're a new teacher, always ensure that you pay attention to this before signing that contract. Now, always ensure that it's always good to ask questions. Don't sit down and fold your arms. Now, what I see is that a lot of teachers, especially from Africa, when getting these opportunities, think that it is once in a lifetime, and so they don't ask questions. They just keep quiet, and then they come and they are caught in the lion's den. Always ask questions, make research, find out. If it means paying money to get such information, do that. And if you want to do that, I'll always be available. You can take my number from my profile and you can always ask me any questions, but it's not for free. So always take note and do that. It is also always proper to make adjustment to the contract. When they send you the contract and you think something is not right and that it's supposed to be a certain way, feel free to tell them. They are going to adjust it for you. And when you finally come to your workplace and you sense something bad or you find out some treatment, speak against it. Talk against it the very moment you see it, because Asians and Vietnamese in that matter are some sort of people that if they do something wrong and you don't speak about it, they will never change. They think it's normal, and so they will continue to do that very thing. However, if you speak against it, they will stop and they will never do it again. So always try to talk up against things that go bad against you. And finally, don't always forget to speak out. And finally, don't take tasks that you are not entitled to or are not meant for you. This is how these people think and behave. If you go to do extra duties which you are not mandated to do, automatically it becomes part of your work and you won't be paid extra. So always adjust yourself to what you are asked to do. Don't go the extra mile. For instance, if you are supposed to teach for 1 hour and you start teaching 1 hour 10 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes, with time they see it to be part of your job and you won't be paid extra for it, but you'll be expected to go that far. It has happened to a number of people. So guys, this is just my simple tactics which were actually put out by Muhammad Ali. An Indian working and teaching in Vietnam for over 6 years. If you like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the video, and share the video to new teachers, incoming teachers, and teachers who would love to teach in abroad, especially Vietnam one day. My name is Kweku Abranti. Peace out.